This is the Athlete of the Week, and it's brought to you by Diamond Point and Sauk Centre here on Midmnsports. And with us today is a Sauk Centre athlete. This is Audrey Zenzen. Well, Audrey, we'd like to start out with, tell us about your family, okay?
So my parents are Neil and Teresa Zenzen, and I have 4 siblings, Virginia, Brock, Sydney, and Elise.
All right. Tell us about the activities that you're involved with here in school.
I'm in tennis, basketball, FCA, and captains and leaders.
All right. I want to touch on some of those, okay? Right now you're involved in tennis, and today, as we record this, you had 2 matches in just extreme heat. What was it like out there today?
It was very hot and really tiring. I wasn't expecting to get so tired, but I drank a lot of water and it helped. Yeah.
Let's touch on the season that you've had, because as I look at you playing tennis, you've gone from last year playing doubles, and now you're the #1 singles player. How has that transition worked for you? How have you gone from being the number 3 doubles to the #1 singles now?
Well, it's a big adjustment from being, last year was my first year and this year is my second year. So it's a really big adjustment, and my record isn't like great, but I still think that I'm doing really good for it only being my second year. And some of these people I'm playing are really, really good. So I'm just happy like being able to play with them and doing okay. Yeah.
Well, and again, the competition out there that you faced, some of these girls say like the Minnewaska team, they're rated in the top 10. Can you describe or compare for us that, facing some of the good players, what are they doing out there that you're trying to compete against?
They have really good cross-court drives, some of them, and their serves are really, really good. I wish my serves could be that good sometimes. And yeah, they just are really good at driving it, and that's something that I want to work on this year. But
now the wins that you've had a couple of wins here as the season goes on. What is working for you in those matches?
Well, sometimes my drives are good, but if you're playing a short girl, some of the girls I've won against are short, so you try to do like lobs. Or like windy days, you do some slices, those work. And some days like serves are just really good, so they go right past them and just feels good.
How has tennis been going as you get involved in tennis? How did you get involved in tennis here in the fall, first of all?
My mom said I should try something new, so I tried tennis.
Because let me ask you, how tall are you now?
6 foot.
Okay, and being that tall, volleyball was not in the works there?
I did volleyball in 8th grade. I liked it, but I like playing it more like for fun and not like competitively.
It is a little competitive, isn't it?
Yeah, very competitive.
But yet, though, as we talk about that, I don't want to touch on basketball yet, but it's the same thing in basketball, right?
Yeah, it's just basketball I seem to enjoy more than volleyball. It's just more my thing.
So as I like to point out, too, that as younger athletes see you and know of you, why should somebody get involved in tennis? What is the makeup with a tennis player or the tennis team that you would encourage somebody to play tennis?
It's just a really small team, so you get to know everybody really well. Like basketball and volleyball, the teams are always just so big. You don't really get to know everybody, so you get to know everybody from all the grades, and it's more like individual, but also like a team. So if you want to be more individual, you can do that.
So let's touch on basketball now, too. As I mentioned, it is competitive. Everybody, I want to bring this up with you. Everybody wants playing time, right? Okay. So you show up at the first day of practice and you see Julia, Michaela, Tori, everybody's out there. And it's just competitive on this floor to begin with, right? What is your mindset going into that?
You just want to push everybody so hard that you just get better, and you want to work your hardest so that you get better and you can play more. But you just want to make everybody better.
I'm sure Coach Bergman has sat down with you individually, and I don't mean to get too much involved in that, but what are some of the things that he says to you that he would like you to do out on the basketball floor for the team?
Post up. Yeah, post up really well. I was doing really well this summer with that when he told me that, and after last year he told me to fall less, and I didn't fall as much this summer.
Okay. I suppose that's just being aggressive though, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you stay with it. That's fine. But, you know, again, as you say, post up, describe for us then, too, for folks that don't really understand what you're meaning by that. What are you trying to do?
You're trying to get to the block or a little above the block, get in really good position and get in front of your girl so that they can pass it to you and you can have an easy shot by the basket.
Jackie Mindorf to Andre Zenzen. And one for Zenzen.
You've been around basketball here for a while now, and you've seen a lot of good players come through. Can you point out to us some of the girls that you've watched play and you've picked up some things? What are those things, and who are you talking about?
Well, I learn a lot from Michaela and how she rebounds, so I try and rebound like she does because she's just so good at it. So I try and do that. And then Julia was really good at posting up, so I watch how she does it.
Now, again, with playing time, how do you view that you're not starting on this team right now because, again, who's all on this team, but how do you work yourself in? How do you get ready to get in there and play when you do get a chance?
Well, I'm just thinking about giving Michaela a break and doing my best to
Well, just do the best you can, right?
do the best I can.
Yeah, because again, do you find that as you play against these other teams, they're really kind of gunning for Sauk Center, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so how do you handle this mentally then? What do you girls talk about as a team that you can handle that and take on that kind of a challenge?
We just try to be really aggressive every game and come out playing our best every single game. And we don't want to, if we're playing a team that's not as good, we don't want to stoop down to their level. We want to play the same as we would Minnewaska, I guess, or like Minnehaha Academy. We want to play all the teams the same.
Mm-hmm. Does everybody handle the pressure pretty well? Because there's as fans, we're all expecting all these wonderful wins all the time as you walk out there. Mm-hmm. How do you handle the pressure as you look at other girls? Do they handle this pretty well?
Yeah, I think we're all just really good teammates, and we can cheer each other up and boost each other up if we're all having a bad game. So we all help each other that way.
I want to touch on too with the FCA that you participate in. Tell us more about that. What does that stand for, and what are you doing there?
It's the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and we talk about. First, we play a little game, and then we watch a video, and we talk about how God has impacted us, and how we can mix that with sports, and yeah.
So as you do that, how do you, are you very vocal with your teammates, or are some of the other athletes more vocal, and what are they saying?
I haven't been vocal as much because on my teams I really haven't been on the top positions, but this year I've been trying to be more vocal just because for tennis I'm up higher, and for basketball I might be on varsity, so I want to try to be vocal with that. And Tori's pretty vocal. She just tries to boost everybody up, and in FCA she tries to just always talk about how she's been impacted and things like that.
It seems to me, and you tell me, with Sauk Center female athletes from a senior on down to whatever grade you're in, everybody encourages everybody really well, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you see that as you've grown up then too? Who are some of those girls that have encouraged you and had a good attitude for you?
Well, from basketball, Tori, McKenna, Julia, Megan, they're all super positive to everybody. They try and be nice to everybody. They want to include everybody. So I think everybody just wants to be super nice to each other. So we all try and do that.
All right. Well, any other activities that you're involved in school that you could talk about that we should touch on in school with subjects and things like that? What do you like to do?
My favorite subject in school is Spanish.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Really? Who's the teacher there?
Mrs. Bicey.
Okay.
And Mrs. Very, but she's for the younger grades.
All right. Can you use Spanish in a way that going forward here in your life, any application for that?
Mm-hmm. I want to work in a clinical setting, so then there's people of all different ethnicities coming in, and if there's some Hispanics, then you get to understand them if they don't speak very well. their English very well.
Excellent. That is more and more in need, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So being a junior, you still have another year left, but do you think about what you're going to be doing after high school?
Mm-hmm. I want to be an ultrasound technologist, and I'm hoping to go to St. Cloud Tech.
Okay. Well, excellent. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you finish this tennis season, and then basketball, I think, is going to be pretty good, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You ready?
Sure.
All right, really good. All right, thanks for being with us, okay?
Yep, thank
all right.
you.
That's been Audrey Zenzen. She's the Athlete of the Week, and it's all brought to you by Diamond Point in Sauk Centre here on Mid-Minnesota Sports.